Our foundation for growth is really centered around the Bayan Khundii Gold Project. We see this as a base to generate significant cash flow so that we can use that cash flow to continue to generate new discoveries and grow and expand this resource in this very exciting new district. You can see here on this page how we've moved forward very rapidly from discovery in 2016 through the various stages of de-risking this project to the point where we will be shovel ready in 2021 and looking to construct that initial mine as we move into 2022 for first gold. What really drives the economics at Bayan Khundii is the grade. This is a very unique area in that we've not previously seen exploration, so you still have these high-grade deposits available at surface. In our case, we have an average head grade of 3.7 grams per ton, and as you can see here, that would be in the top decile of pre-production open pit deposits globally. This is how the initial pit looks in long section at the bottom of the page. This pit was designed based on a $1,350 gold price, so significant potential for expansion looking at gold prices today. We currently have 409,000 ounces of reserves in that economic pit in the proven and probable category, as mentioned at 3.7 grams per ton. But in addition to that, as you can see on the right-hand side here, our total resources are in the range of 620,000 ounces. So much of the material that sits around the confines of the current economic pit is also in that 3 gram plus range. And we believe through some work we're now doing with Tetra Tech that we can expand that economic pit and enlarge the reserves for an increase in the mine life. The ore at Bayan Khundii is quite simple. It's largely oxide. It's amenable to simple conventional processing. We're crushing and grinding this material through a SAG and ball mill down to 80% passing 60 micron, running that through the CIP plant for up to 93% recovery. We are in a arid climate. We are very focused on the conservation of water, and therefore we are employing a dry stack tails process, and those dry tails will be stored in an integrated waste facility, which you can see on the right hand side. We're also very excited to be the first company in Mongolia moving forward with a hybrid power solution, which will be a combination of solar and diesel power, which you can see on the bottom of the page. So some of the highlights that I haven't touched on yet include the average production. We will be producing approximately 65,000 ounces of gold per year. However, in year 2, we're exceeding 75,000 ounces. And looking at the opportunities, which I'll share with you in a moment, we don't think we'll be looking back from 75,000 ounces per year. There's plenty of opportunities to bring in grade from other prospects and or volume to increase that production. But at this point, based on our feasibility study, it averages 65,000 ounces per year. We have designed a plant that can accommodate cost-effective increased capacity. We believe we could push this up north of 80,000 ounces as we move forward. We have low all-in sustaining costs at $733 an ounce and low capex to go along that at $59 million, which I'll come back to in a moment. This is a relatively shallow open pit. Mineralization starts at surface in the southern end of the pit and extends down to 144 meters depth. Simple mineralogy, as I mentioned, with good recoveries at 93%. It'll take us about 1.5 years to get this mine up and running, and then a 6-year production period based on the feasibility study. Again, we already have resources at another project to the north, which I'll share with you in a moment, and we have great exploration opportunities and growth opportunities around the current pit. So we see this as a 10-year plus operation once we're up and running. The cash flows that will be generated from this operation are quite significant. This is a relatively small plant at 1,800 tons per day, but given the high grades, we're able to generate the ounces we talked about earlier but we're going to be producing at a range of gold prices of $1,600 to $1,800 an ounce. We will be producing $40 to $50 million in after-tax net free cash flow. So significant cash flow for a company that today has a market capitalization of 80 million US. So we'll be generating our market cap in the first 2 years of production, to put it in perspective. In terms of leverage to gold price, we had a base case of $1,400 in the feasibility study. And you can see here the sensitivity to gold price, where that effectively doubles as you move up close to $1,800, and a very respectable IRR at $1,400 gold and less than a 2-year payback. But you can see here that with a gold price in that $1,700 to $1,800 range, we're going to be in that 60 to 80% IRR range. As mentioned earlier, a $59 million capital, including a 10% contingency. So let's look a little bit more closely at our schedule as we see it today. We're currently very focused on moving through the final approvals and permits required to move to construction. We expect that work to be wrapping up as we move into late Q2, early Q3. We have our construction readiness and detailed engineering work going on, both from international consultants and also in Mongolia, where we're using multiple engineering consulting firms to expertise the international work. And on top of all of that, we signed a mandate letter with Export Development Canada back in October to be the primary lender to the project. Up to $55 million is being evaluated by Export Development Canada. They have just recently had their technical and E&S consultants on site and completed that evaluation. So we expect to move through their due diligence as we move into Q3. And by the time we're into mid to late Q2, actually have that credit decision from Export Development Canada, which will form the foundation for our project finance and the bulk of the $59 million capex that's required. Once we've moved through those 3 key areas of completing the detailed engineering, having the permits in hand, and having the financing resolved, then we will make a construction decision. And that will immediately lead to early earthworks, camp establishment, and civil works. We expect the process plant construction and the non-process infrastructure to continue from late 2021 into mid-2022, and expect to see the state commission approvals and first ore processed as we moved into late 2022 for first gold production towards year-end next year.